Welcome all. Today in this third session of Postman, we are going to discuss that how we can configure different type of REST API in Postman, like get, post, put, update, and delete. So let me show you. In the previous session, we have already created the workspace. We have created the collections here, and we have configured one API, this get all students. So now let me show you that how you can configure other type of API, other variants of API. So this is my document. As I already told you, this that I have already developed this API myself and deployed on my local machine using this NetBeans and this ClassFish server. So I can use it locally also. Okay. So I have configured this API. Now let me come to the second, this API, get student by ID. So what is this API? Using this API, you can pass the ID in the URL and you can fetch the detail of any particular student. So let me go to here and I have already this collection. So I will click on these three dots and I will click on add request here. And now by default, you can see one request is added here. So let me change the name of the request, get student by ID. So I've just given the name of my request here and it is changed here. So again, you can see first of all, we have to select the method. By default, it is get. So I don't need to make any changes here. Now, just put the URL here. And at last, let's remove this thing at the curly bracket. In the upcoming session, I told you that how you can make it dynamic, how you can store or create the variables to run the APIs. Okay. So, but in this session, let me put the, you can say, let me put the hard coded value one here. So, okay. So what will happen? I have just put the method. I have just configured the URL of get ID and just pass the ID here. You can pass the ID here. And now let me simply click on send. You can see here, I've clicked on that and it is returning the detail of get student of a student ID. And in the same way, you can put any other ID. Let me put two ID and just see that in this case, you can say because this ID do not exist, so we are getting the response this ID do not exist. Okay, so I have configured the get all student API. I have configured the get student by ID API, in which you can see we are passing a path parameter. We called it path parameter. Now let me configure third type of API that is called delete student. So for that purpose, let me do one thing. First of all, instead of delete, let me configure the create student API so that I can show you that how you can use the post-based API in the Postman. So now go to your again go to your collections. Now again click on three dots, click on add request. So in this way you can add multiple requests here. So this time I want to configure the post-based API. The method is post. So what we have to do? First of all, go and change the method to post here, and here you have to enter the URL here. Okay. Now in this post API, you know that whenever you are using any post based API, you need to pass some data which you want to save in the which you want to send in your API, and so that it is saved in the database, or you can say in the application. So this is my sample data here. Let me copy the data here. Go to your Postman. You can say method I have selected here, given the URL here. Now you have to go to the body part. So whenever you have to set any data in the body of the APIs. So you have to select this body one, and then you have to select this raw. Now you can paste your sample data here. Okay, I pasted data here. So this is the sample structure. Like there is a student XML format, and you have to give the age, name, and subject here. So let me just put some different name, 98, and let me give the name. Let's make automation easy here, and let me give the name subject as REST API. Okay, so now you can see in post-based API, what is important. First of all, you have to give the method name here as post. You have to select from this drop down, and then you have to enter the URL here. Then you have to select the body, and under body, you have to click the raw, and then you have to paste the body here. So this thing you have to do. Other than one important thing is that you have to set a header here. In case of API, in case of any API, if you're putting some data in the body, then you have to set the header. And what is the use of that header? We are going to set a header that is called content type. So content type tells that whether you what type of data you are going to send in your API. Like we are sending here XML data, and you know that in REST API support XML as well as JSON based data here. So I'm putting the XML data here. So how I'm going to tell my API that I'm using XML based data. So click on header, and here you have to go through the key section and type content type. So you will see there is a this is a standard key here, content type, and here you can select the value APPLICATION application slash XML. And you are able to see currently I'm showing this API application slash JSON also. So whenever you are using any JSON based supported API, you can use the application JSON. So I will show you that thing also, because let me show you that I have both type of API here. So using that, using my JSON API, I will show you that thing also, that how you can configure the JSON based API. So currently I have to select here application slash XML. Okay, so now everything is done. Let me save it. Okay, I've saved it. Now you can see it is showing that it is a post request. I've set the method, I've entered the URL, I've set the body content here in the header, I've set the content. And now everything is done. Simply click on send and see that it is giving the response. Or yes, it is giving the response 200. And you can see you got the response here, and ID is generated 3131. You can double check using your collection also. In the collection, you can say again, you go to your get stub ID, and here you can pass this ID. So you can check it whether this add student or create student request or API created the record in the database or not. So I put the API here. Now let me click on send button. So you can see here it is returning the same data like ID 98. Let's make automation API, whatever I used in my this, you can say, post based API. Okay, now we have learned the post. Now let me show you other type of API. Now let me show you the put based API. So again, same thing is there. Whenever you are going to use any API, first of all, copy the URL and see what is the method name here. So on the basis of method name, again, I'm going to click on my collection. Let me create add request. And here you can do one thing. You can give the name update student. So I'm just giving the name update student here. And let me select the method put here, and here you can put the URL. Okay, now what other things are needed to be set in your API? That is, this is the sample data which you want to update here. Okay, that you have to put it here. Let me copy here, and let me go here and let me select the body tab and clicked on raw, and I put the data here which I want to update here. Okay, now in this data you can update the age, money, age, name, subject, whatever you want to update, you can update it. Okay, so now again the same thing, as I told you that whenever you are going to put any type of data in the body, you have to set a header that is called content type. So that we are going to do in the header section of this API also. So let me again set content type, and here we have to select the value APPLICATION application slash XML, application plus XML. Okay, now all it is set. Let me save it so that you can see left side. It will show you the. Okay, now it is saved, and you can see put update is there. So now let me do one important thing. Here you have to put the ID. So let me do one thing. Let me use the existing ID. Here you can say I can use this ID. So here you can say uh, you can say previously the for the ID 3131 the age was 98. Uh, Name was let's make automation, and request subject was test API. So I'm update the detail of this API. I'm going to update the detail of this ID. So let me go and put the ID here, and in the body you can say I've changed everything. Like you can say for this ID, actually you can say uh, name was let's make automation, age was 98, and subject was STS. So I'm just changing all three details. Whatever detail you want to change, you can change it. But for here, for your learning purpose, I'm updating every information here. Like for this ID, I'm updating the age 98, updating the name Manisham, and subject will be JMeter. That ID is 3131. So let me send it. Now you can say it is updated the ID here, and you got the response 200, and you can see 3198 Manish is there. You can double check it here. Again, go to your get system ID. So here it is showing you the old response, this one 98. So if I will again click on send, and you can see it will give you the updated response here. Now you can see here you are getting the updated response for ID age is 98, Manish and Jupiter. So in this way, you can configure the food-based API. Okay, so in this post, I've just forget to change the name here. So again, you can go here, and last time I've just run the post API, but forget to change the name. Here you can give the name create student. So any point of time, you can update anything in your API configuration. So now let me click here. Now you can see. So I've shown you that how you can configure get based API, how you can configure post based API, how you can configure put based API. Now I will show you the that how you can configure delete based API. So this is my delete, and here you can use this URL. Okay, now let me copy this URL and go to here. Again, I'm adding a request in the same collection. If you want, you can add in another collection, but these are related to the same project like student. So I'm just adding here. Select the method here, delete here, and now enter the URL here. Again, I'm saying that here you have to pass the ID here. So I will copy the ID, which I've already recently created. So this is the ID. So I will, with the help of my this API, I will try to delete the record of this API. So delete is there, this one, and let me give the name of my request, delete student. And everything is there. Now let me save it. So here you can see I've configured the my method. I configured the URL, and we are not passing anything in the body, so we don't need to set the content type here. Now simply click on send button. Now simply click on and you can see the response. Here you can see the response 200, and here getting the message student deleted successfully with below ID, and you are getting the ID whether this ID is deleted. We can again double check. How we can? We have already configured this ID get star ID API here. So let me again click on this one. So you can see previously it was showing you the updated record. Now if I click on it, it is showing the response failure. This ID do not exist. It means when I use this delete API to delete the record was deleted from the application, or you can say the database. So in way you can say in this way we have learned get, post, put, and delete with API. Other than API, suppose take the example you are getting any other type of API. So again you have to follow the same rule. What is the rule here? You will go to the document and check that what is the method name, what is the URL. You have to set some data in the body, or you have to set some data in the path here. So on the basis of that, you can select here, go to here, and on the basis of method, you will select the method here. Like you can select the method get option. Different type of methods are purge are also there. So any type of API, if you're getting, you don't need to worry about that. Simply select the method which is given in the document, then put the URL here. If some data is need to pass here, you can pass it here. Again, if you are passing some data in the body, so you can how you can set, you can go get to the body and you can select all the raw option here, and then you can paste the data here. Okay, and if you're passing some data in the body, if it is a XML based or it is a JSON based, go to the header and add. Then in that case, you have to add a header that is called content type, and content type value can be application/XML or application/JSON, whatever data you are using in your API. So in this way, you can configure any type of API in your Postman and run it. So in the upcoming session, I will show you that how you can use the variable. Like you can say currently I'm just using the these ID 3131, and basically it should use a variable here to configure different type of things here. So we can create the environment variable. How we can configure different type of variable to make it dynamic, that we are going to learn in our upcoming sessions. If you like my video, you can click on the like button. Uh, if you have not subscribed my channel till now, you can subscribe it. Thank you.